Okay, hey guys. This week we're going to start with chapter 11 of Stat by Amar'e Stoudemire. There was already a crowd at the court by the time we arrived, and Carlos's crew was right at the center of it, hogging the good side of the court as usual. Yeti was hanging on the rim again like a jerk. "He's going to bend that one too," I said. "He might bend us," said Mike. "You want me to guard him today?" I asked. "Nah," said Mike. I'm not tall enough to take Carlos. I'm just not looking forward to those elbows is all." "This'll be the last time you have to deal with him," I said, "one way or the other." "Want to bet?" said Mike. "That's exactly what I intend to do," I said. Oh, that's not right. "Huh?" said Mike and Deuce at the same time. By now some of the kids from our class had seen us. "Here they come," called Janie. "It's on," shouted Tavoris. Carlos and his buddies turned to see what was going on. Once they saw it was us, you could tell they weren't all that impressed. "What are you guys doing back on our court?" said Carlos the moment we stepped onto it. "Shouldn't you be home with your tails between your legs?" said Ledge. "Shouldn't you go back to the garbage dump you came from?" I said, kicking one of Yeti's flattened cans across the court toward them. My heart was pounding like a jackhammer. Was it possible these three had gotten even bigger overnight? The can skittered to a stop in front of Carlos. He looked down at it and then back up at me. Then he burst out laughing. "Man, you have lost it, Amar'e," he said. "Who cares about this little court?" "I don't just mean the court," I said. "You've been leaving your junk all over town." "So what if we have?" said Carlos. "Let the garbage man deal with it." That got me heated up. "My dad is not a garbage man," I said. It must have been loud enough for everyone to hear because the crowd started making noise all around us. "Oh, now we're getting somewhere," said Carlos, clapping his long hands together. "You hear that, guys? This kid's dad is a garbage man. Been picking up after us?" "Like father, like son," said Ledge. He let out a wheezy little laugh, and Yeti low-fived him. "He owns a lawn care I started, but there was no point. These three had no class to begin with, so why would they start now? I just needed to put my plan in action. I wasn't 100% sure about what came next, but I didn't let it show in my voice. I raised my head and said loud and clear, "We decided to come back and take out the trash ourselves. And guess who's the trash?" A chorus of oohs went through the kids ringing the court. Carlos looked around at the audience, and I saw his eyes stop somewhere back over my shoulder. I turned around and saw Junior walking up from the street with Timmy. He wasn't part of the plan, but I was definitely glad to see my older bro. "What are you doing here, man?" I asked. "Heard there was a big game going on," he said with a little shrug and a big smile. "There is," I said. Then I turned back to Carlos. "So what, you've got some friends?" he said. "Doesn't change a thing. We'll still crush you." I looked right at him and said, "Want to bet?" Another round of oohs rippled through the crowd. Carlos looked around. He was definitely annoyed. "What do you have in mind?" he said. I waited a few seconds until the court was quiet. I wanted everyone to hear this. "Make it, take it," I said. "Sure," said Carlos. "I mean the court," I said. "Huh," he said. "What's this kid talking about?" said Yeti, who was standing next to Carlos. "I mean whoever wins gets the court," I said. "Loser clears out for good." "Whoa, whoa, whoa," I heard, but it wasn't from Carlos's side. It was my own team. Deuce and Mike pulled me aside. "One sec," said Mike, holding up his hands, but they both leaned in and whispered. "Are you crazy?" said Deuce. "This is our court. We've been playing here since forever. These guys are just, like, visitors. We can't wait them out." "Yeah," said Mike. "Aren't you on the honor roll?" I thought about that big history paper. "For now," I said. "Well, aren't honor roll students supposed to be smart?" he said. "You're risking our home court." "Hey," said Deuce, "I'm on the honor roll too, and I think this is stone cold crazy." "Come on," I said. "We've already lost this court. We have to check every day to see if these guys are here, and we'd have to do that every day for, like, ever. We could never just come up here for a game without worrying about it. Plus, they haven't missed a day since they showed up. Let's face it, they think this is their court now." Mike and Deuce looked at each other. "Yeah," said Mike, "you've got a point." "I guess," said Deuce. "Trust me," I said. They looked up at all the kids from school and then looked back at me. "Okay," said Mike. Deuce just nodded his head yes. "One other thing," I said, just before I broke from our huddle. "We all need to play the best game of our lives." "That's just great," said Deuce. "No pressure there," said Mike. When I turned around, I saw Carlos breaking from his own huddle. They must have been talking it over, too. "So," I said, "is it a deal? One game for the court?" "Yeah," said Carlos. "All right." I reached out my hand. He just looked at it for a few seconds. "Unless you're afraid," I said, which was pretty funny considering they could probably hear my heart pounding in Georgia. "Not even a little," said Carlos, reaching out and grabbing my hand. He shook it once, hard, just like that. It was official. "To 7 again?" I said. "Yeah," he said. "Let's get this over with fast so I can start enjoying my new court." "Win by 2? I said. "Nope," he said. "First team to 7 wins. Simple as that." Man, I thought, he sounds really confident, even with all these eyes on him. "First team to 7, Marcus called out, in case anyone in the back hadn't heard. There was no backing out now. There were only 2 ways to leave this court now: as winners or forever.